Okay, so it seems like only, 2 weeks since we last had a little chat at jolly old BVE, and
Yep.
look, here you are again.
I know.
Still looking
Photography show.
smiley and happy.
Another show, another month.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because, we're at the photography show, and yet you're back, bigger stand again,
Yep.
more interest than ever,
Yep.
and it's the photography show.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually because we did this show 3 years ago for the first time, and we had a stand somewhere tucked around over there,
remember.
like 18 square meters, and then last year we had 140, and we're 140 again here.
So the reason we're here again, not just because I wanted to talk to you anyway, but the reason we're here is that in our little travels we're going to be doing to the States with myself and Dave Newton, whilst we're all testing the GFX Fujifilm camera, we're also going to be taking a couple of GH5s with us and some lenses, and we're going to be using them for a couple of reasons. We're going to use them for a bit of vlogging, but we're also going to do some money shots as well and the landscapes. Now, anybody that's tried to shoot with flat log on the back of a screen will know that it's now an impossible.
Yep.
And so that's why we thought what we'll do is we'll take an Inferno with us, and we'll actually demonstrate just why you need to have something like that out in the field to be able to get those kind of shots.
Exactly, because the biggest issue people have with shooting log is normally they either underexpose it or they overexpose it. You're always trying to, if you use a standard like Panasonic log to Rec 709 conversion, that's quite modest. That's really designed for TV, direct to TV, not for grading. So then you use a custom LUT, but then you're either putting on LUTs that are showing you just the highlights, or you're putting LUTs that are then showing you what's going on in the lowlights, but not the whole overall image. So even if you're not shooting for high dynamic range for HDR deliverables, the Atom HDR engine built into the Flames and the Inferno basically allow you to expose log correctly, because it's really the first technology that's actually allowed you to see what the sensor of your camera actually is doing. It's a high dynamic range image. You're just always looking at either the flat log or a 6-stop of dynamic range kind of conversion. So, the Atom HDR engine, you can pop that in, drop in, it's a Panasonic, it's V-Log, the V-Gamma, so we're now looking at a true 10 stops dynamic range image, which I can use my eyes very simply to see, is it exposed correctly? But also we have a dynamic waveform that shows your increased dynamic range ceiling, so you know where your clipping point is. You can see where the sensor starts to hit its limitations of what it can cope with the glass that's on it or the scene that it's presented with. So it just takes a lot of the science and the maths and the pain and the headache.
Yeah, it just takes all the guesswork out of it.
And the thing is you now have an image that you can see what that is like in HDR. So if you are delivering for HDR on YouTube or to clients or for whatever, then it's done. But also if you're delivering it for SDR, if we go back to our log now, we basically can see, if we do a noise check, that there's very little noise in that image. Whereas if we'd exposed that for Rec 709, that image particularly, on this, which is a GH4, which is quite noisy and low light, would be quite high. So, you're ending up with a much cleaner, easier to use image, whether it's SDR or HDR.
As I said to you earlier, we're going to be taking some of SLR Magic's anamorphic lenses to stick on the front of the GH5. Now, the Shogun has a little party piece as far as that's concerned.
Yep, so basically all of our 7-inch models, so the Ninja Flame, Shogun Flame and the Inferno, basically has the capability to do an anamorphic D-squeeze. So as well as having all your frame guides in here for different aspect ratios, we also have a D-squeeze. So we can do a D-squeeze at a 2:1, 1.5, and a 1:3:3. So that will also work with all your frame guides and things like that as well. So it's very easy to see what you're doing, because trying to check focus when you're shooting with an anamorphic lens is very, very difficult. Using the screen on the camera, it's tiny, it's not very good. You're going to be out in the desert, it's going to be bright. So again, 1500 nit brightness screen in a D-squeeze, checking focus, very, very simple to do.
So it's kind of really easy to see why on earth we'd want one.
Yeah, exactly, and particularly with the GH5, with the Inferno, you've got the 4K P60 support as well, so you're bypassing that 8-bit 420 internal 4K 60, which again is quite a heavily compressed image. We're recording that at nearly 1900 megabits per second directly into ProRes HQ or Avid DNx HR, so the footage you'll get out of it in log, absolutely stunning.
Well, we'll be putting it to the test. Well, I will be with my ignorance when we go out to the desert. So listen, thanks as always, mate, and we'll look forward to getting the Inferno to stay with us.
I look forward to seeing the footage.
Yeah, probably be the good stuff shot by Dave, not me. But anyway, listen, thanks very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Thanks.